get into talking about the summary this February, what happened and what's going on. Let's take a look at, it's going to start off with Dow first and see what transpired in February. Last month we were talking about, when we ended January, how we were looking at a possible support and resistance in this area right after it broke over. And so in February, let's see what happened. Let's take a look and see where we are in. This is the Dow chart, all right, on a daily chart. Let me see what we have here. February started right here. This was February right here. Alright. Okay, yeah, that's February. Let's take a look at our fib ratios and see what happened. I remember last month we were talking about, let's see, right around here, we were ending right around here and we were going towards this mark right here, the 78.6, and I mentioned that if it goes over this, we're going to go either to 88 and all the way to 100, and that's exactly what happened. Look at this. All right, so it came back, the 78 became support, shot up, the 88, it tried to break the 88, there was some resistance, and then it broke up and went to the 100, and we're right now at the 100. And this is from the all-time low back in well, not all-time low, but the low back that in December that we had printed. Now this is the 100 on from, you know, taking it back over here. Now if we were to take this back and take it from the high, let's see what our fibs numbers are showing. We're getting very close to the 88 on the fib for the all-time high versus the December low, when we look at the retracements on the Fibonacci numbers. Okay, so right around the time when we finished January was around 61.8. It broke it, became support. You'll see that support. It rode it all the way up to 78. It broke it. It became support. And now it's trying to get to 88.6. Now, you know, let's see what happens in the next few days. There's a chance that we may touch the 88 and then come back down. All right, so a little bit of, I don't know if I like this arrow. This arrow sucks. But from here, we can go up to here and touch this. Okay? And then either make its way back down, maybe find this as a support and then try to break it up further, or continue its way down to the next leg. All right, so that's what we're looking at for the Dow in the upcoming days and weeks, at least for February, and see what's happening. Okay. And so just keep an eye on what we see. There's still this big level price action right here where there's some support and resistance in this area and previously. So we do see that. You know, so keep that in mind, and that falls along right where our 78.6 is. All right. Now the other thing you want to keep an eye on is our MACD. Now the MACD is crossed above our zero line. You see it right here, and there's some more room for that to go up further as well. Okay, so this thing could transpire upwards. And if that happens, you'll see some more movement upwards, and then there'll be maybe a cross somewhere around this area and then turn back down. But that's what we're looking at over here. We got some high ranges on the RSI, and we're on the stochastics, we're above our 80-minute level. So there's some divergence, and that's occurring right here. So there's a chance that there'll be a little bit of follow through in the next few days, and then possibly a downturn, if not for a longer term upwards. So keep that in mind for the Dow. This is what we're looking at. We're already 100 points up today. So already, this is the eve of the last day of February. Okay. So March tomorrow is 1st. And this is what we're looking at. Let's take a look at the ES and see what we got on the ES. The S&P Emini futures. Alright, so this is the ES. And on the ES, let me get some of these fib things going. Alright, so if we had from the previous high, we take it down to the previous low. Alright, so oops. Previous high to the low. Okay, so back in the beginning of January, beginning of February, this is right around here, and this is where we were talking about it. Actually, I didn't make a video on the ES, I just did on the Dow, but this is where we were on the ES around this time. Alright, we had crossed over the 78. I was taking it as a level support the next few days, and you saw it going up to the 88, broke 88 and touched the 100. Look at that, right on the money. And that's where we are on the ES. We're above the 50 and 200-day moving average, which is a trend up, and we're looking at breaking MACD above. It's trying to cross over right here above the 0 line. The RSI is on its upward trend. We're looking at some slightly move upward on the stochastics, and we are, look at this, right around on the upper range. Okay, so there's a chance that we may move up a little bit, trying to cross this 100% mark right here. If we do go over, there's a chance it may pull back a little bit and come back into this 27, 22 range, even the 88 or the 61.8, right? So just keep that in mind, that the upper side is very limited just because we're already on the very high end side. We just moved up so fast, so soon. So there's a little bit of room for downward movement unless we get a catapult in the news about trade agreements and North Korea and this and that. If any of those things happen, there will be a catapult move upwards, right? So let's take a look at the fibs on the all-time high and see what happened. Okay, so this is the all-time high, and this was around the beginning of February. We had already crossed over the 61.8, and that became support. And as soon as that became support, it went up and touched 78.6. Now that proved to be some resistance and brought it back down. Now the next leg up, it could break it and go towards the 88.6, which is 28.72 around therefore. So you're targeting, because we're moving upward on the MACD, there's a chance for the E-mini S&P to go upward. Okay, and the there's a good chance that we may cross and go around, target this area. All right, with better news, we're looking at this target. With bad news, we're coming back. Oops. With news, not so good news, we may come back down to either this price level or 2704 or even the 50%, right? Because we are very close to the 50-day and the 200-day moving averages. Now that will prove whether or not it'll stay above those numbers, whether all of this, there's a lot of support in this area. Okay, so with that said, there's a chance that it may just bounce right off the support and move on its way back up. Okay, you got this price level from previous resistance and supports. You have the 50-day move and 200-day moving up. You got the 61.8 right around this line. So there's a lot of support in this area. Okay, if it breaks, then it'll go down a lot. But if it doesn't, there's some room for further upside. Okay, so I hope this helps you summarize the Dow and the E-mini S&P futures. If you have any questions, please reach out to me on any of my chats. Reach out to me on Discord. Get on, even if I'm not available on the live stream, you can always get me on Discord. Thanks.